Heather Grant, and today we're here with Luana Rubin, where we're going to talk about the value of traveling and how it can be inspirational to your work and your community. So Luana, you travel all the time for both business and for fun. Tell me, what are some of the best shows that you've been to?
Well, one of my favorite shows, besides Houston, of course, is the Tokyo Quilt Festival, which is every January, and 250,000 people show up for the show. It's kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. And it's in the Tokyo Dome, so it's like on a baseball field, right?
Yes, an enclosed baseball stadium. There's plenty of seating.
That's amazing. And so another place that you've been to that I've heard a lot about is the Birmingham Quilt Festival in the United Kingdom.
Yes, and you know, that is a show that I think a lot of Americans haven't heard about, but people come from all over Europe, from Russia and Spain and Italy and Norway and Sweden and of course England and Ireland and Scotland. So you get to see all kinds of quilts from many different traditions and backgrounds.
And you've discovered new quilters that you've never seen before at these international shows, haven't you?
That's true. In fact, I saw Luke Haynes for the very first time. I saw his work there before he became more famous and well-known in the U.S.
That's awesome. And so, but you also go to all different size quilt shows. You don't just go to the biggest ones.
That's true. And one of the shows that I just went to recently was the Canadian show in Toronto. And there were some beautiful quilts there, but it wasn't even just Canadian quilters. One of the quilts that I really enjoyed was by a Russian quilter who had lived in Ukraine, fled to France, and was showing her Russian icon quilt called Mother Earth at the Canadian Festival.
Well, that's wonderful. So you get a lot of inspiration in your own work. I mean, looking at all your pictures, I'm really inspired on how I want to bring it into my work as a quilter. And you've also made lots of friends, right? You went to Mexico, and why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I went on a crazy quilting cruise that involved some Day of the Dead crafts and a little bit of tequila maybe. I'm not going to admit to anything there. But we made crafts and even the husbands participated with us.
Wow, that sounds like so much fun. So you met a bunch of people at the Mexico show and you wound up seeing the sights and going way beyond quilting and experiencing Mexico itself.
Oh, that's true. When you travel, of course, you take the opportunity to go to museums. And in the case of Mexico City, I went to see Frida Kahlo's Blue House, where she grew up and lived with Diego, and also the two studios that they had next to each other.
Man, Frida's work is so inspiring. It's so great to be not only inspired as a quilt maker, but also through all this amazing museums and artwork and culture. Another thing, I mean, sometimes worldwide travel is really expensive for folks, but you've entered quilts internationally, and so that might be another way that people can kind of get that international experience.
That's true. And if you can't go yourself, you can always send your quilt, and your quilt can go and have a little vacation. Recently, I had a quilt that was at the United Nations in Switzerland, and I went a week early, and I was able to go and I volunteered to help hang the show. And honestly, that was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, learning all the things that go into hanging a show, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, so not only you've been inspired and met all of these amazing artists and seen lots of great work, but you've volunteered. And so do all of these shows have volunteering opportunities?
I would think so. I think it doesn't take too much work to find out somebody who would say absolutely yes. I will also add that another way to interact with the local quilters when you're traveling is to share images. Here you are looking at all their beautiful quilts and appreciating their local traditions, and I love to show photographs that I've taken from other quilt shows around the world. So in my case, I give PowerPoint lectures, but anybody can bring along a tablet and show photos that they've taken of their own quilts, their local shows, or national shows that they've attended.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of great ways when you go overseas to connect with other quilters and really kind of experience their culture and also bring your own. I mean, we all share kind of this wonderful community of love around one thing. And so it's really awesome to hear all about your experiences there. Thanks for coming.